Hi all, Violet here, second generation homeschooling mom of 3. I have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a toddler. Today I wanted to share with you some of the books that we checked out in June. So let's get into it. So these first few books are all from the Lab for Kids series. I like to check out books like this in the summer because then when my kids say that they're bored, I can suggest they go check the library basket and see if there's something there that sparks their interest. So we got this 3D printing and maker lab book. It has very simple, my kids declared them incredibly boring, projects for 3D printers. And we were actually just gifted a 3D printer recently. One of our friends upgraded theirs and gave us their old one. So we haven't set it up yet, but I was hoping that there would be something in here that my kids would be excited to make. And mostly what this looks like is that it's very simple projects, teaching kids how to use the software that you need to learn how to use in order to do the 3D printer. So we might use some of this book for that part, but I was hoping to find a project that my kids would be excited about. But we'll see. This next book is Map Art Lab for Kids, and this one my daughter has already done a few of the maps, and it's just all kinds of different ways to do maps. So we actually did this one where we dipped it in tea. She did a to scale map of her bedroom. She did a map of a magical place. That might be all that she's done so far, but we really liked this book. It had some interesting projects. This Math Lab for Kids also has some fun stuff. This first one my kids did with marshmallows and toothpicks, pyramids, and platonic solids, all kinds of different shapes. I don't think they've done much of these. They did this snowflake one. I don't think they've done a ton of other projects in here yet, but they've looked through here and picked some things that they want to work on, so that's cool. And then this last one is Kitchen Science Lab for Kids, Edible Edition. My daughter went through and wrote down all the recipes that she wants to try. So there's a non-edible edition that's just science experiments with kitchen supplies you have in your kitchen, but this is specifically recipes you can make, and then it tells you a little bit about the science behind each recipe. So here's the little box with the science behind the recipe. So that's cool. We're looking forward to trying some of those recipes. I usually check out cookbooks for my kids in the summer just because it's a really fun and easy thing to do. We have to cook meals anyway. So these next few cookbooks we may have checked out before. The No Cook Cookbook, this is from DK. And these are all things that are especially nice in the summer because they're all cold. Unfortunately, my kids didn't want to try anything. I think there was like one recipe in here maybe that they wanted to try, but most of the rest of them, we did these last time we checked out this book. Most of the rest of them they were not super interested in, which is unfortunate. This next one is also from DK, the Children's Quick and Easy Cookbook. And my daughter is currently going through this book and choosing what she would like to try from here. So she's fairly independent in the kitchen, but she still likes to have me help her. It's kind of like a bonding thing that we can do together. I always think it's fun. This next one I think is new. This is from Faden, A World of Flavor, a celebration of food and recipes from around the globe. So this book looks really well done. We did kind of an around the world study when my daughter was in preschool. During the pandemic, we didn't have anything else to do, so we got really into it. And I wish we had a book like this. So each place opens with a spread about whatever country it is, and then a bunch of typical foods and ingredients. And then the next 2-page spread is one recipe, how to do it, and why they chose it. So yeah, and then they also have informational spreads here and there about a specific food. So like this one's noodles all around the world. And there's one about tea around the world, things like that. So I really, really like this book. I don't know that we're going to end up cooking much from here, but I really want to look through this with my kids just because it's such a cool book. I really like this publisher, Faden. They publish a lot of things that I just really like. These next few books are all Juneteenth books. So I had my daughter read this. This is History of Juneteenth, a history book for new readers. She's not a new reader, but I thought it would be nice for her to have something that she could read on her own. So she read through this. All these Juneteenth books, by the way, are from Amber O'Neill's list on her blog, Heritage Mom. I will link that below. She gives lots of great book recommendations, especially about Black history, Black culture, all that sort of stuff. The True Story of the Grandmother of Juneteenth, Opal Lee, and What It Means to Be Free. This book, Free at Last, a Juneteenth Poem. This one we've read before, and my kids remembered that we read it before, so that was nice. Sometimes I'm not sure if they're retaining anything from the picture books that I read, but we really enjoy this poem every year. And then this one is the Juneteenth Cookbook, Recipes and Activities for Kids and Their Families to Celebrate. So we have not made anything from this book. My kids looked through it and they chose a couple of things, and then on Juneteenth they didn't want to make them, which is fine. Maybe we'll make them later on. But yeah, this looked really like a really good resource as well. This next book is part of a series. It's the Eats, Shoots, and Leaves picture book series. So this is called The Girls Like Spaghetti, and it's all about apostrophes. I have the other books on hold at the library in this series, and they just haven't come in yet. And so this whole book is just comparing one kind of apostrophe with either no apostrophe or a different kind of apostrophe, showing all the different ways that moving the apostrophe can change the meaning with these pictures. So I really like these books. I like bringing in things like this, fun picture books, to kind of reinforce our fun grammar that we do during the summer, which is just Mad Libs. This next book is called My Big Book of Outdoors, and this is just, I checked this out with my youngest in mind. This is just a very simple introduction to various outdoor things. So we looked through this together, and I read her a few of the pages, mostly the animal ones. She really likes animals, but I thought this was a really nice book. The art style was kind of reminding me, it has some activities here and there. The art style was kind of reminding me of Sing a Song of Seasons, our favorite poetry collection, but it's not the same illustrator. This next book is called What a Rock Can Reveal. I think I've mentioned on here before, my husband sometimes takes the kids, my two older kids, to his mineralogy club, and the mineralogy club breaks over the summer, so I thought it might be fun to check out this book and kind of see which of these rocks they've gotten to see at the rock club, and kind of just read more about rocks, basically, because they've been really into the rock club recently. So the rock club has like a show and tell element. They usually have a guest speaker. They have activities for the kids. It's fun. My kids like this book too. And they liked that book so much that I got them What a Shell Can Tell, just in case we find any interesting shells at the beach this summer. We don't usually, but I thought this might be a fun little summer book. And my son really likes ocean stuff, so he really liked, especially these pages, talking about all the different creatures that use shells. So that was a fun one as well. This next book you probably have all already heard of before, Everyone Poops by Taro Gomi. My youngest is currently potty training, and so I thought this would be a good one to check out and read while we're going through that whole process. We have some other potty training books that we own as well, but this one's just all about different kinds of animal poops and how we poop in the toilet, and yeah, everyone poops. My kids always like that one. This next book is called Papilio, and it's about a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, but it's kind of cartoony and very cute. And it's turning into a black swallowtail butterfly. So this one was fun. These next two books are part of a series. Diana Aston has a whole bunch of these books, but my youngest is currently expressing interest in, she likes all animals, but especially in birds right now, so I thought she would enjoy these. An Egg is Quiet. This is all about different kinds of eggs, and the illustrations are really nice as well. And it's fairly detailed without being too much to read out loud. So that one was fun. And then A Nest is Noisy. It's all about different, so there's some of the different nests and the different birds, why they build their nests different ways. Yeah, we really like, and there's some of the different animals they talk about in the book. We really like all of her different books. This next book is called Bird Lore, The Iridescent Life of Florence Merriam Bailey, and she's basically the mother of bird watching. So prior to her activism and push for bird watching and nature walks, a lot of scientists studied birds strictly in captivity, and so she really pushed for studying them out in the wild where they belonged. So this was a really nice book. The illustrations are beautiful, and it's a really inspiring story as well. And an important point to note that it's best to study animals in their natural habitat. This next book I check out periodically. I've probably shown it in another library haul, but it's called Beautiful Oops. And this is just a book all about how the mistakes we make while we're making art can be turned into something to celebrate. So yeah, I really like this book. It has all sorts of interactive elements, and it's a good reminder for my kids that you can turn a mistake into something maybe different than you were originally envisioning, but still cool. This next book is another board book. It's called Moon, and it's about the phases of the moon. So the moon the little moon cutout gets bigger, becomes the full moon, and then gets smaller again. So yeah, that one's cool. This next book, my son actually checked out to read to my toddler, which I just thought was really cute. It's called What Dwells in the Deep, and he really likes ocean stuff, so it's all about different ocean animals. He really liked reading this one to her, and she sat and listened to the whole thing. It was really, really, really cute. And we actually had never heard of a snailfish before. So that was fun, because usually when he checks these books out, he's heard of all these animals and he knows everything about them. So it's kind of nice that we finally, in this board book, there was an animal that he wasn't expecting to see. He also checked out for himself On an Ocean Journey, Animals in Motion Through the Seas. And it was funny because there's actually a snailfish in this book as well. But it goes through all sorts of different motions and all sorts of different animals. And then at the end, it identifies them all. So he enjoyed that one. He also checked out The Fossil Keeper's Treasure, which is a almost like touch and feel book. Like it has raised fossils, all about different things you might find fossils of. So it's not all dinosaurs, but there are dinosaurs in here as well. So yeah, this was a cool one. My kids always like touch and feel stuff, which I like touch and feel stuff too, so I totally get that. He also checked out this Dino Trucks Dig the Beach book, which is just different beach stuff, these dinosaur construction vehicle type things. So yeah. And then he's been reading the Dragon Masters series. He just finished this book, book 25. And yeah, these are part of the Scholastic Branches series group. And so they have some pictures, but they're aimed at like the early readers, kind of early chapter book demographic. So he's been really enjoying these. My daughter is also reading about dragons. She's reading this Enchanted Forest Chronicles. This is book 3. She just started this, Calling on Dragons. I read these when I was a kid and I thought they were really funny. It's basically this princess who doesn't want to do all the traditional princess stuff. So she goes off to find a dragon to kidnap her so that she can like do all sorts of interesting stuff with the dragon instead. And then there's 4 books in the series and just follows her various adventures. So yeah, I really liked these as a kid, and I'm glad that my daughter is enjoying them as well. She's also been rereading a lot of books that she's read previously because she's really motivated by the library summer reading program, and she knows that she can, if she rereads a book, she can read it faster. So yeah, that's just kind of funny to me because usually she doesn't like rereading, but for the library summer reading program, she will reread books so that she can maintain the volume of books she wants during a summer reading program. All right, the last stack of books that I have to show you are all the books that we're doing for our little Read Around the World thing. It's this is a book list that I found from Penguin Random House, I think. And so I didn't check out every single book on that list, but I did check out one book from every country because some of the countries have more than one book. So this first book is called Noodles on a Bicycle, and it's about the noodle delivery men in Japan, which they don't do it this way anymore. Now they use motorbikes and, modern methods of delivery, but this was how they did it from the 1930s through the 1970s mostly. So this is a really cool book. This next book is set in France, The Bees of Notre Dame, and it's about the beekeepers who have beehives on the roof, and then it talks about the fire and rebuilding and all of that, and there's some real pictures in the back. We haven't read all of these books yet, just FYI. This is what we're doing over the summer. This next one is called The Lights That Dance in the Night, and this is about the Northern Lights. This next one is Mexico, Tamales for Christmas. And it's all about different Christmas traditions in Mexico, especially the tamales. And there's a recipe in the back too, if you want to make your own. This next book is set in Nigeria, and it's called The Night Market. And it's all about the wonders you can find at the nighttime marketplace. This next book is set in Gaza. It's by a Palestinian author, and it's called My Olive Tree. And it's all about how she yearns for peace and how her olive tree is a symbol of that. So this is a very moving book, especially right now. I'm really glad that they included that in this list. This next book is called Emmanuel's Dream, and this is set in Ghana, and it's about a boy who was born with one leg has a physical deformity. So he bikes across Africa to prove that just because someone is physically different doesn't mean that they're incapable of doing things. So he raised awareness, and yeah, it was pretty incredible. So my kids enjoyed that book. That one we've read. This next one we've also read before, Digging for Words. This one's set in Colombia, and it's all about this garbage man who started collecting books that people were throwing away and opened up a free library, because at that time, at least, there weren't any free libraries. You had to pay like a membership fee in order to be part of a library. So yeah, that one was cool too. That one we've read before. This next one is set here in North America. It's called This Land, The History of the Land We're On. And it's specifically all about the indigenous people who were here in the U.S. before the colonizers came. So this was an important book for us to read. And we have also read this one before as well, but it's been a little while. This next book is set in Vietnam. It's called My First Day, and it's this boy's journey to his first day of school. It's the rainy season, so things are flooded, and he encounters various obstacles, but in the end, he makes it there. And then there's a little historical note in the back, or informational note, I guess. Not historical note. This next book is set in China, Baba's Peach Tree. And it's just her and her father tending the peach tree and everything that happened to them as well. Yeah, this is a really sweet story. And then the last book that we'll be reading for this summer is The Spice Box, and this one's set in India. And so this is all about using different spices to make a delicious curry. And then there's a recipe in the back as well. So I always like it when books include a recipe. My kids may or may not be interested in making it, but I do think that's always really fun when it has something you can then make at the end. So those are some of the books that we checked out in June. I hope you found this helpful. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below if there have been some library books you've checked out recently that your family has really enjoyed. I will link everything down below. I am a bookshop affiliate, so if you click on one of those links and make a purchase, I do receive a small commission. Thank you for watching.